Hey, y'all, welcome to this episode of What I Learned Today. And today we're going to talk about motivation. And I know a lot of times people are saying, I'm not motivated. So we got to tap into goals that we have achieved and uh, things that we've accomplished, right? And remember what motivated us, what got us to do that, because our motivation, it may change based on the task at hand. The other thing is our motivation sometimes is internal, meaning we can build it up and we can move based on our own thoughts and our feelings and actions. And sometimes it's external where we need that pull, that cheer, that encouragement, that support that's coming from outside of us. And sometimes it's a blend of both. All right. So I consider myself a very internally motivated person. I will get an idea, like for instance, a children's book. I'll get an idea and then I will start moving on it. I'll write the story and then I start searching for an editor and an illustrator. And next thing I know, I have a children's book, right? And I am internally motivated. Nobody has asked me to write a children's book. Nobody's looking for me to do this. Nobody's like, yeah, Kat, you can do it. No, it's all coming from inside of me. And then there's other times where I am externally motivated, right? I may not be sure of my skills and my ability. And so I remember in high school, one of my favorite teachers wanted me to sing Respect by Aretha Franklin. And she wanted me to do it in front of the whole school. And there was a whole skit that went along with it. And I like to sing, and I would say I have a pretty voice, but I wasn't interested in performing. We had girls in our class that, were honest performers. But she was like, no, I want you to do it. And she's like, I want you to do it. And I know you can do it. And I believe. And so there was this external motivation because I didn't want to disappoint her. And I knew she was asking something of me that she believed that I could do. And so I was motivated that way. I know sometimes, as far as work things or projects are created, I remember being in school. I didn't want to do the assignment, but I was motivated by the fact that I didn't want to get in trouble. I was motivated by the fact that I wanted to complete the assignment on time. And then I learned how to become motivated to complete the assignment ahead of time. So, how did that happen? One time I finished an assignment early, and there were benefits to finishing the assignment early. Uh, it gave me a chance to turn the assignment in and get teacher feedback so that I could make whatever corrections or additions that needed to be added so that when I turned in the final product, it was better than what it would have been if I waited until the last minute. But the internal motivation that I experienced was I finished it early and there was a relief and a release of pressure inside of my body. I wasn't experiencing that anxiousness of, am I going to get it done on time? I know some people say they work better under pressure, but I didn't have the pressure. It was very leisurely. I was able to sleep better. It was amazing when I finally had this experience because I was a person who could knock things out under pressure. But why do I want to constantly put my body under that type of pressure? And when I realized that, I said, oh, I can turn this stuff in early. Oh, I can sleep better. Oh, if things come up that I want to do, like to go out with friends or family, I can actually do that because I'm not jammed up doing something else. So that really aided or added, excuse me, to my desire to increase my internal motivation. So I have to clarify what my why is, right? Why do I even want to do this? And why do I want to see it completed? And then it helps me to pick a date. When do I want to see it completed by? This is why sometimes when people are trying to get rid of weight, they may want to get it done by a certain date, right? Like a wedding or a holiday party or something like that. They say to themselves, all right, I have, 3 months or 6 months. And now they're motivated to get into this particular outfit or look a certain way when they take pictures or show up at an event. So that goal of that event, that particular date becomes their motivation. Daily motivation. Sometimes, you can go on to YouTube and you can find motivational speeches. You can look in books and get some motivate. I mean, go online and get some too, some motivational quotes that activate you, right? They light that fire, they ignite that fuel that says, I want to work towards this particular goal. I know some of you are saying, yeah, I get motivated, but then procrastination sinks in. Sometimes we have to just break it down into daily motivation, right? What is the motivation to get me from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock a.m.? What is the motivation that gets me from 9 o'clock to 12 noon? Sometimes we just have to chunk it, and then we have to recognize where we have been successful. That becomes very important. So I'm going to come back and talk about internal and external motivation as a whole some more. But right now, what I'd like you to do is I want you to take a moment and I want you to write down, when have you been internally motivated, right? What have been goals that you set for yourself and you've accomplished? As what are goals that someone else has set for you that you've accomplished? So I'll tell you, there was times where it went from external motivation to internal motivation. So my mom used to come into my room in the morning to wake me up to go to school. And I didn't like to go to school. I know y'all see them two letters in front of my name and like, how do you end up being a doctor and you didn't like to go to school? I did not like to go to school. I like to play. Um, but she would come in and she would wake me up to go to school. And she would open up the shades and the sun would come beaming in, and then she would start singing. And not that she had a bad voice, but she would start singing this song, Good morning to you, good morning to you, something with bright, shiny face. I have no idea. Because at this point now, my face is all like this, and the attitude is heavy, and I'm angry. And right, it was this external motivation coming in, waking me up, disturbing my peace, my rest, my sleep, and I was annoyed. And then one day it dawned on me that if I were to wake up before she came in, I wouldn't have to deal with the sun glaring in my face, in an unwanted way. I love the sun, don't hear me wrong, but that shocking way. I also wasn't going to have to deal with her singing that song that I did not want to hear. Um, and I could move at my own pace. And so it was the external motivation that triggered the internal motivation to start waking up before she came in, to start getting ready before she came in. And so that worked. All right. So, like I was saying, so my mom, start from here. So my mom used to come into my room. She would wake me up in the morning. And so I had to learn how to wake myself up before she came in the room, before she would start singing that song. And then she would start to open the door, and I was already up. I was already dressed. I already had a chance to set my mood for the day because I didn't like being in a bad mood. But when she would come in, and sing and the sun shining and so forth, it would put me into a bad mood and it would take me a while. Remember, y'all, I'm a teenager at this point, right? It would take me a while to get out of that mood. And so it was like, I want to control my mood. And the way for me to control my mood is to control my environment. And the way for me to control my environment and my area, right, in the house was me waking up and setting the tone for my day. And that was a game changer for me. So then she would come into my room and I'm already up, moving, and I'm chipper. And she's looking at me because I think she got some pleasure, y'all, out of that. Like, oh no, she's not up already. Now, that might have been her secret weapon to make that happen. Whatever. The point is, I learned that it worked for me, and the power and the importance of me setting and being responsible for the energy that I've been given. Oh, that's going to be the next one we talk about. All right, so I'm going to stop there for now. So there's a little bit about internal and external motivation. I'll probably talk about motivation again. All right, but I definitely want to talk about this being responsible for your own energy. All right, see y'all soon.